Look at Devonta Smith just sitting here. You know what? He's got to be looking over at Cincinnati right now and looking at Jamar Chase, and he just must be going, wow. I know that kid was great at LSU, but he wasn't that much better than me when I was at Alabama. I won the damn Heisman Trophy. That kid is the fastest to 700 yards in NFL history. That includes Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. National Football Show. How's everybody doing, all right? All right, this is going to be another come to Jesus conversation for the Philadelphia Eagles and their fan base and the organization. Okay? Another come to Jesus conversation. Man, oh man, oh man. Jalen Hurts. Should he start? Should he not start? Should we put Gardner Minshew in? Can Nick Sirianni coach? Let's just get to the damn point here on what we need to find out the rest of the way out. By the way, welcome aboard, everybody. We appreciate it. We are packed one more time today. Look at all the stuff we have here. And I say this to you guys all the time. I appreciate everybody that comes aboard the program here. You guys jump in with your comments. We slide it in. You guys become part of the content, too. By the way, Dan Miller, part of the broadcast team for the Detroit Lions, will be with us at 5 o'clock Eastern. We'll get his spin on what's going on in Detroit with Chris Spielman's Detroit Lions. Made the hire for Dan Campbell. I like what I'm seeing in Detroit. I know they're 0-7. We'll get to the Lions here in a minute. But this is going to be an extension from what I did yesterday on why Gardner Minshew should be the starting quarterback now for the Philadelphia Eagles. How in the world are we going to find out if Nick Sirianni can coach? There's other players on that team that need to be developed. Can Sirianni develop Devonta Smith? Can he develop a running game? Can he develop an entire unit? We have to find out right now going forward if he is the guy that you want to turn a roster over to. You know, it's more than just developing Jalen Hurts. You got wide receivers. You got O-line. You've got a coaching staff. Being a head football coach is being a delegator. Not so much hands-on, but more so being able to be involved in finding out whether or not you can handle the pressure of being a head coach. How in the world are we going to know if we're so centered on whether or not he and Jalen get along, whether the plays fit him, whether they don't fit him? How do we know what he's doing for Devontae? Look at Rieger. He's falling completely apart. Look at the O-line that you guys told me about at the beginning of the year. I know they've been decimated with injuries. But I'm going to tell you, man, that O-line is not the O-line people were talking to me about at the beginning of the year. No way. Zero running game. How are we going to know these answers if we're just so centered on one thing? Jalen Hurts is not a starting quarterback in the National Football League. I've got the numbers to show you, too, here in a minute. He's not. Okay, let's move off that. Gardner Minshew. You know, I saw somebody in the stupid Philly media making a comment. Gardner Minshew's not the guy. No shit. But you've got to find out if you can develop other guys. This has to be about lessons now. This has to be about teams learning a lesson every single game. The wins are not going to be there. We have to sit here and figure out whether or not this organization can develop players moving forward. When's the last Pro Bowler that they developed? They haven't. Carson Wentz is playing Pro Bowl football right now. Doug Peterson is sitting on the bench. And by the way, with every failure every week that Howie Roseman and the owner of the Eagles go through every week, the amount of money that it's going to take to hire Doug Peterson this coming 2022 offseason is escalating. Doug Peterson's value goes up every week when you see the kind of performance that's going on with the Eagles. His market value goes up because look at the team today and then look at the team from a year ago. You're telling me they're better? Last year, the Eagles were an absolute mash unit. Then they became a train wreck. Then the owner and the general manager were involved in process. Get the hell out of the room. We've got to figure out right now if Nick Sirianni can really develop the rest of this team. We've got to find out if they can teach these guys. Jonathan Gannon, he's got the utmost confidence in. Well, Hoss, that's not saying much right now. Your defensive group is not believing in you. Williams says that's why Lurie is responsible for allowing Howie to screw things up. Howie has a job, William, of doing one thing. Get me the personnel, turn it over to the coach. The problem in Philadelphia is that people look to the general manager's office, and the general manager is Jerry Jones in Philly. He's turned him into the mouthpiece of the owner. He and the mouthpiece, Howie Roseman, and the owners sit there at night and say, this is the direction I think the team should go, without having the coach in the room. The coach is just a puppet. You've got to find a quarterback right now that can show us if the rest of these players on this team are guys you want to go forward with in 2022. Look at Devonta Smith just sitting here. You know what? He's got to be looking over at Cincinnati right now and looking at Jamar Chase, and he just must be going, wow. Wow. I know that kid was great at LSU, but he wasn't that much better than me when I was at Alabama. I won the damn Heisman Trophy. That kid is the fastest to 700 yards in NFL history. That includes Jerry Rice and Randy Moss. Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase have turned Cincinnati's fortunes around. You know what? I just learned the name of the Bengals coach more on a common conversation now. Zach Taylor, is it? I had no idea who the dude was. Now he's going to be in a conversation for the NFL Coach of the Year. The Bengals are the number 1 seed in the AFC. What? Hold on. Pinch me. And the Eagles are a train wreck. No question about it. This is why I say start Gardner Minshew. This has got nothing to do with Jalen. I want to find out if my coach can coach. Charles says, Jeff Dunham is very interested in Sirianni. M. Reyes, why would we get a quarterback to evaluate these players if the scheme is garbage anyway? Then you fire the damn coach, M. Reyes. That is exactly my point. Think about what he just said there. Why would we get a quarterback to evaluate these players if the scheme is garbage anyway? Then you fire the coach. You made a mistake. Howie would go for that because those are his players. Tape Wade says no quarterbacks this draft. Yeah, but there's free agent quarterbacks that are going to be out there that are going to be on the move. Okay? Got to find out if Sirianni can coach, guys. We already see what he's doing with Jalen. They're going nowhere with him. I don't care how many stats you show me. The number one stat and only stat I care about is winning and losing. Most of those stats, most of the stats that people are starting to put out there on me when it comes to Jalen Hurts are garbage stats. After they've been pounded, they make a nice fat, run at the end of the game. They kind of make the game look good in the box score. But they're completely garbage. Let me show you something here where Jalen Hurts sits right now. 28th in completion percentage. 24th in yards per play. 27th in quarterback rating. 22nd in completion percentage. Dude, I know who he is. And some of you would say, well, it's the coach. Duh. Okay? Let's find out if it's the coach. The only way to do – hey, by the way, does Sirianni want to start Gardner Minshew? Why do you think they made that move to send Flacco with a conditional pick to the Jets and not have a even better potentially backup to Jalen? Against Detroit, if he starts falling all over himself, they will put Minshew in. Okay? Look at these stats here, man. We got to find out right now if he can coach. Personally, I'm having a problem with it. I totally am. The red. For all the garbage stats, omit the stats from the fourth quarter since he pads everything during garbage time. Absolutely, dude. Formerly known as JoJo. When they lose to Detroit, Minshew will get his shot. Watch this, too. Formerly known as JoJo, let me throw this at you here, okay? This is about learning more about the team. The thing is 2-5. It's over. This is not really about winning now. This is about finding out what we have. Can you really tell what you have right now on your football team? It's the same stuff every week, man. Fall behind. By the way, you get a lead on the Eagles, it's over. It's over. They've got to have a lead or be in it a little bit or it's over. Pre-snap disguise, Robert says. Post-snap disguise. What are we doing with the coverages? That needs to get corrected. Let's find. This is my point, guy, of the open here. Let's find out and learn about this coach. Hey, throwing everything on Jalen Hurts right now, it's the quarterback position. He gets it. But the coach needs to have some heat on him right now, too. I saw a stat where somebody says if you gave this coaching staff a better quarterback and a better running game, that Nick Sirianni would be a 5-2 football team. Okay, well, let's find out. Let's see if it resembles a pro offense with a drop-back quarterback and a guy who gets under center like Gardner Minshew. And by the way, one more time, let's underscore this. Okay, I'm going to underscore it one more time. Is Gardner Minshew the future of the Philadelphia Eagles when it comes to the quarterback position? Absolutely freaking not. But at least he can play a pro-style offense. And that's what Sirianni coached last year in Indianapolis when he was the OC with Phillip Rivers. Those guys won 11 ball games with him calling the plays. Why is it so difficult? Benching Jalen Hurts, I don't give a crap about his feelings. I got to find out if I can get the ball. How do you know if Devonta Smith's good? Look at what you're doing to Devonta Smith. You know what Devonta Smith is doing right now? He's running routes for nothing. You drafted a guy in the first – actually, you've got two wide receivers that you drafted, okay? Two wide receivers that you drafted in the first round. Are you ready for this? They're useless. They're absolutely useless. Useless. Because you can't get the ball to him. See if you can get this quarterback to get the ball. Let's see what we have at wideout. You know why Rieger looks the way he does? You know why he looks the way he does? Because he doesn't have confidence in the passing game, and he doesn't have confidence in the quarterback. You don't think Devonta Smith, in his heart of hearts, when he was at Alabama, knows the truth about Jalen Hurts? There's a reason Nick Saban benched his ass. Remember something about Jalen. Unlike any other guy in that Eagle locker room, Jalen knows the truth about him. He knows what Nick thought of him. Nick's never going to come public and dog one of his ex-guys, even though that guy went to Oklahoma. He's never going to do it because everybody looks at him as an Alabama guy. Well, he actually got booted out of Alabama because he was not going to be the starting quarterback there. Okay? So he knows the truth. Why he was pushed out of that starting assignment in Alabama. Because he wasn't accurate. He had accuracy problems when he was in Bama. And if you got accuracy problems and you get to the NFL, you think those are going to correct themselves? You think all of a sudden you become an accurate quarterback in the NFL if you work at your game and you're with better coaches? You know, one thing about Josh Allen at Wyoming, he was accurate. Okay? He just had horrible coaching until he got to Sean McDermott. Shepard says not going to happen because we have Rich Kotite and the new Tim Tebow. The offense surely looks like Tim Tebow's running it. Absolutely. Absolutely, Shepard. It so looks like what that offense was in Denver. Williams says Jalen came off the bench and saved 2 in the SEC championship against Georgia. Yeah, you know why? And that's a great point, William. You know why? Because they were scheming with all their defensive preparation. They were doing it for Tua. It was a great changeup. That's what Jalen Hurts is. He's a change-up quarterback in case something's not going well in college. Let's put him in. Most defensive coordinators don't scheme and put schematically defensive assignments together for 2 quarterbacks, especially ones that are so different. Tua's accurate. You know, one thing I'll say about Tua over the last couple of weeks, Tua's looking better. Tua's looking more accurate. They may not be winning a lot of games in Miami, but he looks better. It ain't him. That whole thing has fallen apart with the way that they've handled the whole Deshaun Watson sweepstakes. Chris Greer and Brian Flores should be held accountable for the way that they've dealt with that and handled the whole thing. How do you develop Tua when Tua every day shows up to the facility not knowing if he's going to be a Dolphin or not? Okay? Wait, watch this. If I gave the opportunity to have Tua Tagovailoa as the Philadelphia Eagles starting quarterback over Jalen, you take it in a second. Why? Because he's more accurate. He's more accurate, man. Dude, that guy on the other side of the football for the Eagles too, man. Jonathan Gannon. You got Fletcher Cox barking now. Hey, yeah, sure, the scheme sucks. I'm paraphrasing for him. 2-gapping? Hoss, do you know what 2-gapping is? You turn your D-line guys into slugs. Jonathan Gannon thinks he has linebackers in Philly. Best part of his football team is his front 4. For some reason, he doesn't know that. Okay? He just doesn't know that. Bill says Hurts is a one-read quarterback. You know who said that to us about 3 months ago? Brian Baldinger. Brian Baldinger said that Tua needs to be more than a one-read quarterback. He's taken off too much. But get this, guys, that's what happens when you're a young dude. Hey, by the way, isn't it funny? Why are you guys wanting to give Jalen Hurts all this time to be a starting quarterback in the NFL? When I needed 10 starts to know that Joe Burrow was the dude, or I needed 5 starts to see that Justin Herbert can sling that bitch. I will give you this, and I do think this point is important, okay? Now, tell me if you guys subscribe to this. I think we can identify a passer quicker at the quarterback position than we can a quarterback who's a running passer. Does that make sense? Let me give you some for instances on that. Look at Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson coming out of college, man. We were all like this. I don't know. And all of a sudden, that running quarterback became a quarterback. And after the first year, we were like, I don't know. And then all of a sudden, he started getting better and better and better. Dude, when you watch Justin Herbert throw the football in the first game against the Kansas City Chiefs, I was like this. Holy shit. When I saw Joe Burrow throw the ball, I was like, wow, that guy can throw it. And he knows where to go with the ball. But the running quarterback's a little bit different to evaluate, isn't he? Because he uses that dual part of his game to be able to move the sticks in the same way. It's more about process. One guy is a process quarterback, and he's a cerebral guy, and he processes all the intel he gets. And those are usually your 7-steppers. Some guys don't need to be a 7-step guy, and they could just take off with their great athleticism. Those guys are harder to evaluate. Okay? I mean, think about it. Red right there, right? I mean, when you see a guy drop back and you can see him throw the ball and you can see him process the information, it's quicker to get a sense of what that guy is. But when you have a guy get back here, he 1-2, and he's off the read and he takes off running, you're not sure he's a good quarterback or not because he uses his legs. We're so used to seeing the Marinos, the Bradys, the Peyton Mannings. You know, the guys that just sit back there in the pocket. And that's what we see because that's been the most successful quarterback. What's going on in college, you're seeing guys go like this on the third read. Well, if it's not there, I'm gonna take off. You know, the problem with that, though, is, look, guys, how can you be a 1 or 2 read guy in today's NFL? That's the disturbing thing about Jalen Hurts. You can't hit these receivers like you could back in the day. Okay? These receivers are running in open space, more so than they've ever. You can't mug these guys. So when you're looking off the reads after second read and you're taking off, that's going to be more noticeable than any other time. That's why people are going, man, he's a 1 or 2 read guy and he's gone. That can't be in today's NFL. These guys are open. You know how hard it is to cover people today? It's almost impossible to cover guys. Tapeweight says, how do you feel about Wentz? Wentz is playing Pro Bowl football. He's on pace for 4,000 yards. He's on pace for 25 touchdowns and 2 interceptions. He's on pace for a 102 quarterback rating. He's on pace for 65% completion percentage. I don't know. How do you feel about that? I feel pretty good about that. How do you feel? Like I said yesterday, Carson Wentz and Doug Peterson are making that organization look like turds. Who made those calls? To fire Doug and to get rid of Wentz. Who made those calls? Who made that call? You know, I see Jared Goff, and you're going to get a good sense of him this week. Jared Goff can play. Remember something. He's got an NFC championship ring in his pocket. He did take that Rams team further than anything that Matthew Stafford's ever done. Okay? He's not as consistent as some of the other great quarterbacks in the game, but he's not a dope. And if the Eagles don't put pressure on him, he's going to light him up, man, because that Lions team wants to win. I don't know if the Eagles want to win. Okay? I don't know that yet. Incognito. He's a 0 read. If someone gets a little penetration on him. Yeah. Takes off, RPOs, screens. Good night. Here. Here's a typical Jalen Hurts, Nick Sirianni offense. This is why we got to find out more about Nick. Watch this. Hand the ball off. Try to get a running game going in the first series. You see it doesn't work. You give up on it. Now you're 3rd and 11. How many times have we seen the Eagle offense on the first series or in the first 3 series, 3rd and 9, 3rd and 10, 3rd and 11? Because they do those screens and RPOs. Kick it away, opposing team scores, field goal, touchdown. You're behind because you gave up field position. You don't think these coordinators have the book on the Eagles right now? And because Nick is so limited on being able to – here's my opinion on Nick Sirianni coaching Jalen Hurts. I don't think Nick can coach him. I don't think Nick has a good playbook. Here, Nick has a better playbook for Carson Wentz than he does for Jalen Hurts. He can't coach that style of player. He coaches more the style of Phillip Rivers. That's the story. Okay? Very few coaches are that versatile. Look at John Harbaugh, for instance, okay? John Harbaugh goes from Joe Flacco to Lamar Jackson in 1 year. And Lamar Jackson's one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL. That's a talent. I don't know Nick Sirianni has that kind of talent yet. Exactly why they got Minshew. Sean, it's exactly why they got him. And it's exactly why they dealt Joe Flacco yesterday. Because they're preparing to play him. Minshew is he's not a bad quarterback. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. Now, is he the Eagles' answer? No way. And by the way, let me underscore this again, because I know there'll be idiots in the media that will say Sileo thinks Gardner Minshew is the future. That is not true. But what we're going to do is learn about the other players in the offense. We're going to find out if Devonta – the only thing you guys can say about Devonta Smith right now is this. He was really great in college. He's had a few games where he's caught some passes. I don't know anything about this receiver yet because they can't get him the ball. The quarterback is not capable of getting him enough targets to find out if you're wasting this guy's first year. Sean, we totally have to see what this coach is about. I would I'll concede on this. I would much rather fire the head coach than fire Jalen. I would. Because if he's not the guy, okay, and he's not the guy for my players, I want him out of here. And then you go to the players and you say this, hey, man, he came on high recommendation from Frank. Blame it on Frank. Players will go, oh, yeah, because he did. Nigel says the second we start Minshew, the offense will change. How about we run the offense with Hurts? Why would you run the offense with Hurts? I just gave you the numbers. 28 in completion percentage, 24th in yards per play, 27th in QBR, 22nd in percentage. Why would you do that? Same stuff over and over? You're so predictable right now with the play calling. JoJo, he's not the guy for the future, but he should be the guy now so we can see if the coach is good enough. And what about the other players on the team? Don't you want to try to develop a running game with a pro quarterback? Jalen Hurts is not a pro quarterback. Man. Right? This makes no sense here. Why you would just keep putting that kid in there. It's like putting Justin Fields in Chicago in the starting lineup. Justin Fields should not be the starting quarterback in Chicago. I mean, this guy's the most sacked quarterback. He has no pocket presence. They've got no talent around him, And they're killing him up there in Chicago. You are putting out a young player with no help. We knew the offensive line was a train wreck in Chicago in the exhibition season when they almost murdered him. Dean says, who do we start to fix the defense? You could start with your coordinator. Look at what Dallas did last year. They got rid of that old stupid-ass two-gap that Mike Nolan ran. People in Dallas hated Mike Nolan's style of defense. I hate it. That two-gap crap is no good. They had me playing that shit in Tampa my rookie year. I was like, two-gap? I played a penetrating defense when I was at the University of Miami with Jimmy Johnson. Get in the backfield, wreak havoc. Pressure on the quarterback. TFLs. All that stuff, man. All right, I'm going to get back to your thoughts here. And I'm going to tell you again, okay, a little bit more information on Deshaun Watson. There's a little bit more information out today. He is open, but I'm going to tell you what he said about the Eagles. I got it on high inside information on what he said about the Philadelphia Eagles. We'll talk more about the Lions. Dan Miller from the broadcast team of the Lions will join us at 5 o'clock Eastern time. We'll get his thoughts on this 0-7 Lions team that the Eagles have coming up. Plus other news in the NFL and college football. You keep it right here on the National Football Show.